Consistency is the silent force behind every great achievement. It's not the big, dramatic moments that build success. It's the small, repeated actions done with discipline and purpose over time. Too many people believe they need to go all out, give everything in one burst of energy, and expect results overnight. But real growth doesn't work like that. The truth is, intensity might get you started, but consistency is what keeps you going when the excitement fades. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one is watching, even when the results aren't visible yet. Because success isn't built in a day, it's built daily. Think about it this way, the person who goes to the gym once a month and trains like a beast won't see the same results as the person who trains moderately but consistently every week. The same goes for learning, business, relationships, or any skill you want to master. The one who commits to daily improvement, even in small ways, will always outperform the one who moves in bursts of intensity followed by long periods of rest or distraction. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum is the secret ingredient to lasting progress. When you're consistent, you build habits, and habits are stronger than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's emotional, unpredictable, and temporary, but habits are automatic. When you do something consistently enough, it becomes part of who you are. You no longer have to think about doing it. It becomes your identity. The key is to focus on small, manageable actions that you can repeat daily without burning out. You don't need to transform your life in one day. You just need to improve one thing by 1% each day. That 1% compounds over time until the growth is undeniable. Consistency also teaches patience. It forces you to focus on the process, not just the outcome. When you're consistent, you learn to appreciate the journey. You stop chasing instant results and start valuing long-term growth. This shift in mindset builds resilience because you understand that every effort, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goal. You realize that falling short one day doesn't mean failure. It's just part of the process. What matters is getting back up and showing up again tomorrow. In every area of life, consistency beats talent when talent doesn't stay consistent. You can have all the skills, potential, and resources in the world, but if you don't show up consistently, it means nothing. Consistency is the great equalizer. It allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results. It's the power of repetition that sharpens skills, strengthens character, and turns dreams into reality. The most successful people aren't always the most gifted. They're the ones who refuse to stop. When you commit to small, daily improvements, you build confidence. Each day you keep your promise to yourself. You reinforce belief in your ability to follow through. Over time, that confidence compounds just like your effort does. You start to trust yourself more, to take bigger risks, and to aim higher because you know you have the discipline to stay consistent no matter what. So don't chase perfection. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now with what you have where you are and focus on being consistent. Do the small things right every day. Wake up with purpose, give your best effort, and let time do its work. Remember, the person who stays consistent, who keeps pushing even when no one notices, is the one who wins in the end. Because while intensity burns bright and fades fast, consistency burns steady, and it lights the path all the way to success. Perfection is an illusion that traps countless people in a cycle of hesitation and self-doubt. Too often, individuals fail to start something meaningful because they're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of themselves. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. There will always be flaws, challenges, and things you could have done better. The people who achieve great things in life are not the ones who did everything perfectly. They're the ones who focused on progress, on becoming just a little better each day. Progress means movement. No matter how small, it means improvement, not idealism. And it's the foundation of lasting success. When you focus on progress instead of perfection, you give yourself permission to be human. You understand that mistakes are not failures. They're lessons. Every setback, every error, every shortcoming is a stepping stone to growth. Perfectionists fear failure so much that they often do nothing. But those who focus on progress see failure as feedback. They learn, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. This mindset builds resilience because it allows you to embrace imperfection as part of the journey rather than something to avoid. Every small win becomes fuel for the next one, and each moment of growth becomes proof that you're moving in the right direction. Progress is measurable, perfection is not. You can track your improvement no matter how small. Maybe you ran one extra minute today, read one more page, made one more call, or pushed yourself just a little harder than yesterday. That's progress. When you add those moments together over weeks, months, and years, the transformation is incredible. The person who improves 1% every day is 37 times better at the end of a year. That's the power of progress. It compounds. It rewards patience, effort, and persistence far more than the pursuit of flawless execution ever could. Focusing on progress also removes unnecessary pressure. When you're obsessed with perfection, you paralyze yourself with fear. You overthink every detail, delay every action, and criticize every effort. But when you focus on progress, you celebrate effort instead of outcome. You allow yourself to start messy, to learn on the go, to adapt as you grow. This approach not only makes you more productive, but also more creative because progress thrives on experimentation. You stop worrying about doing everything right and start focusing on doing something meaningful. You start to realize that improvement is not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. In a world that glorifies instant success, focusing on progress keeps you grounded. Social media often shows the highlight reels of people's lives, the results, the wins, the finished products, but rarely the struggles, late nights, or failures behind them. By focusing on progress, you stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You understand that growth is personal and that your pace is your own. Every step forward, no matter how small, is proof of dedication. Every day you show up is a victory worth recognizing. The mindset of progress also helps you stay consistent. When you're focused on perfection, you get easily discouraged because perfection feels unreachable. But when you focus on progress, you find joy in the journey. You begin to appreciate the little victories that most people overlook. That appreciation builds motivation, and that motivation fuels consistency. You start to realize that the process itself is rewarding, not just the end result. So stop waiting for the perfect time because it will never come. The time is now. Don't let the fear of imperfection stop you from growing. Focus on becoming better, not flawless. Strive to learn, to evolve, to do a little more today than you did yesterday. That's where success lies, not in perfection, but in progress, because perfection ends where growth begins. And when you focus on progress, you keep moving forward no matter what. Over time, those small, consistent steps become a path toward greatness, a path that only opens to those who dare to begin. Motivation is powerful, but fleeting. It's the spark that gets you started, but it's not the fuel that keeps you going. One day you wake up fired up, ready to conquer the world, and the next day that feeling is gone. That's just how motivation works. It comes and goes. But discipline, that's different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't need excitement or perfect conditions. Discipline is the habit of doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the commitment to keep going when the motivation fades, when the progress slows, and when nobody's cheering for you. That's why discipline will always be stronger than motivation. It's steady, reliable, and built to last. Every successful person you've ever admired, whether an athlete, entrepreneur, or artist, reached their level not because they were always motivated, but because they were disciplined. They had days when they were tired, uninspired, and ready to quit, but they showed up anyway. They trained when it hurt, studied when it was boring, and worked when no one noticed. They didn't rely on fleeting bursts of motivation. They built systems, routines, and habits that kept them moving forward regardless of emotion. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It turns intentions into action, dreams into results. The truth is, motivation can get you to start, but only discipline can keep you consistent. When you rely solely on motivation, you give your emotions control over your actions. That's dangerous because emotions change constantly. Some days you'll feel unstoppable, but other days you'll feel drained and defeated. Discipline steps in when your feelings betray you. It's the voice that says, do it anyway. It's waking up early to chase your goals even when your body begs for more sleep. It's staying focused when distractions scream for your attention. It's pushing through when your mind whispers, take it easy. That's discipline. And it's what separates the average from the exceptional. Building discipline isn't easy, but it's worth every ounce of effort. It starts with small promises to yourself, tiny commitments you keep no matter what. Maybe it's getting up at the same time every morning, exercising for 15 minutes, reading 10 pages a day, or dedicating 1 hour to your craft. These actions may seem small, but over time they rewire your mind. Each time you follow through, you strengthen your self-trust. You start believing in your own word. That belief builds momentum, and momentum builds mastery. Discipline grows from consistency, not convenience. Another powerful thing about discipline is that it doesn't depend on external validation. Motivation often relies on praise, rewards, or visible results, but discipline thrives in silence. It grows in the unseen moments, the times when no one is watching, when the results aren't visible yet, when the effort feels endless. That's when discipline is truly tested. The person who keeps going in those moments is the one who eventually breaks through, because success is never an explosion. It's a slow burn fueled by discipline day after day. Discipline also brings freedom. It may sound contradictory, but it's true. When you discipline yourself to do what's necessary, you free yourself from the trap of procrastination, guilt, and regret. You no longer depend on external motivation to act. You become self-driven. That kind of freedom is powerful because it means you're in control of your destiny. Discipline gives you structure, and within that structure, you find strength, focus, and purpose. So if you want to grow, stop chasing motivation and start cultivating discipline. Motivation might get you to the starting line, but discipline will carry you to the finish. It's what will make you keep grinding when inspiration fades, what will keep you learning when the results are slow, and what will make you unstoppable when others quit. Discipline is the muscle that builds character, resilience, and consistency, and those three things are what define success. When you live with discipline, you don't need to wait for motivation to knock on your door. You become your own source of power every single day. The path to success is not glamorous. It's not always filled with applause, inspiration, or visible progress. More often, it's long, exhausting, and filled with quiet moments where you question if it's all worth it. That's the grind, the daily effort, the unseen struggle, the relentless repetition of doing the hard things over and over again. Most people want success, but they don't want the process that comes with it. They want the outcome without the work, the reward without the sacrifice. But those who truly make it to the top are the ones who embrace the grind and trust the process. They understand that the struggle is not an obstacle. It's the path itself. Embracing the grind means falling in love with the work even when it's hard. It means showing up when you're tired, pushing through when progress is slow, and believing in the long-term vision even when short-term results don't show. The grind teaches you humility, patience, and resilience. It strips away the illusion of overnight success and reveals the truth that growth takes time, discipline, and an unshakable belief in yourself. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of countless small, unseen efforts. Every champion has spent years grinding in silence before the world noticed. When you trust the process, you stop chasing quick results. You understand that the process is where the transformation happens. It's not about the destination. It's about who you become along the way. The late nights, the failures, the repetition, the setbacks, all of these moments are shaping you, preparing you, and strengthening your character. The grind refines your skills and toughens your mindset. Every repetition builds muscle. Every challenge builds endurance, and every disappointment builds wisdom. Trusting the process means believing that every effort counts, even when it doesn't seem to. One of the hardest parts of embracing the grind is dealing with delayed gratification. We live in a world that glorifies instant results, instant likes, instant recognition, instant success. But real success doesn't work that way. The process takes time. There will be seasons of slow growth where nothing seems to move. But that's when your roots are growing deeper. Those are the moments that define you, because if you can stay focused and consistent when no one is watching, you'll be unstoppable when the spotlight finally comes. Every small step you take in the dark prepares you for the light. The grind also separates the committed from the casual. Everyone loves the idea of success, but few are willing to endure the process it takes to earn it. The grind is uncomfortable. It forces you out of your comfort zone and demands sacrifice. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in challenge. When you embrace the grind, you develop a mental toughness that few possess. You stop looking for shortcuts because you understand that the struggle is what gives the victory its value. Trusting the process requires faith. You have to believe in your plan even when it's not yet producing visible results. You have to keep moving forward even when doubt creeps in. You have to believe that your time will come if you stay consistent. The process is not meant to be easy. It's meant to prepare you. Every obstacle you face is teaching you something. Every failure is refining your strategy. And every small win is proof that progress is happening. So when the grind gets tough, and it will, remind yourself why you started. Remember that every effort matters, that every small step is progress. Don't run from the hard days. Embrace them. Don't lose faith when results take time. Trust the process, because one day you'll look back and realize that the grind was the greatest teacher you ever had. It didn't just help you reach your goal. It built the version of you who was strong enough to handle success. And that's the real reward. Failure is not the end of the road. It's a bend in the road. Every setback, every disappointment, every door that closes is not there to stop you, but to redirect you. The greatest difference between those who succeed and those who give up is how they view failure. Most people see a setback as proof that they're not good enough, that the dream isn't meant for them, or that it's time to quit. But winners, those who grow stronger with every fall, see setbacks as setups for growth. They understand that life doesn't happen to them. It happens for them. Every challenge carries within it a lesson, a seed of opportunity, a push towards something better. When you hit a setback, your first instinct might be frustration or disappointment. That's natural. But what defines you is not how you feel in the moment. It's what you do next. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That simple shift in mindset turns pain into power. Every obstacle contains information about your weaknesses, your habits, your limits, and your potential. When you learn from failure, it becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Every time you rise from a fall, you come back wiser, stronger, and more resilient. Setbacks also build character. They test your patience, your courage, and your belief in yourself. It's easy to stay confident when things are going well, but real confidence is built when you're in the storm and still choose to believe in your ability to overcome it. Growth happens in discomfort. The moments that stretch you, frustrate you, and challenge you are the same moments that shape you into someone capable of handling greater success. When you look back later, you'll realize that the tough times didn't break you, they built you. Many of the most successful people in history turned their biggest failures into their greatest breakthroughs. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming a legend. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job before becoming one of the most influential figures in the world. These people didn't let setbacks define them. They used them as fuel. They understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Each time they fell short, they learned something that brought them closer to their goal. When you change your perspective on failure, you stop fearing it. You start taking more risks, trying new things, and pushing beyond your comfort zone. That's where true growth lies. You realize that mistakes are proof that you're trying, that you're in the game, that you're moving forward. The only real failure is giving up. Every other kind of failure is simply feedback, and the faster you learn from it, the faster you grow. Turning setbacks into setups also requires patience and faith. Sometimes you don't immediately see the lesson or the blessing in a difficult situation, but if you keep moving forward, it will reveal itself in time. Every closed door can lead to a better one if you stay persistent. Every rejection can redirect you toward a greater opportunity. You just have to trust that everything happens for a reason, and that reason is usually growth. So the next time life knocks you down, don't stay there. Get up, dust yourself off, and remind yourself that this moment is not the end, it's preparation. The pain you feel today is building the strength you'll need tomorrow. Embrace it, learn from it, use it. Because setbacks don't define you. How you respond to them does. When you start seeing every failure as a setup for your next breakthrough, you stop being afraid of falling. You realize that every fall is just a chance to rise higher than before. Success rarely comes from one big action. It's the result of small, consistent efforts that build over time. Just like money grows through compound interest, effort compounds too. Every time you show up, every time you put in work, every time you push yourself a little more, you're adding to your momentum. At first, the results may be invisible, almost frustratingly slow. But if you stay consistent long enough, those efforts begin to stack up. What was once a small ripple becomes a powerful wave. That's the power of compounding effort. It turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. The biggest mistake most people make is underestimating the value of consistency. They want instant results. And when they don't see progress quickly, they stop. But growth is not linear. It's exponential. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't see anything for a while, but beneath the soil, roots are spreading, foundations are forming, and life is developing unseen. Then one day that seed breaks through the surface. The same thing happens with effort. The early stages may not show results, but that doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Every small effort is building towards something much larger. Compounding effort works because every step forward makes the next step easier. When you learn one skill, it helps you learn the next faster. When you develop one good habit, it creates momentum for others to follow. Each win, no matter how small, builds confidence and reinforces your belief that you can do more. Over time, that belief becomes unshakable. What started as a slow crawl transforms into unstoppable momentum. Suddenly, what once felt hard becomes second nature, and what once seemed impossible becomes your new normal. The key is persistence. You must be willing to put in consistent effort, even when the payoff isn't immediate. Success is not about doing something once in a while. It's about doing it over and over again until it compounds into mastery. Look at any great athlete, musician, or leader. Their greatness didn't come from one incredible day. It came from years of disciplined effort. They practiced daily, learned from mistakes, and refused to quit. Each repetition made them sharper, stronger, and more prepared for success. The results you admire are simply the visible part of thousands of invisible efforts compounded over time. Momentum is powerful because once you build it, it starts working for you. At first, it takes everything to get moving, discipline, energy, focus. But once you're in motion, it becomes easier to keep going. Like pushing a heavy rock uphill, the start is tough. But once you reach the top, gravity takes over. Your habits carry you. Your mindset sustains you. The effort you invested in the beginning now pays you back in momentum. That's why small daily actions matter so much. They're the foundation of long-term success. Compounding effort also builds resilience. When you've worked hard consistently, setbacks don't shake you as easily because you know how much progress you've already made. You've seen yourself grow. You've built trust in your ability to recover and adapt. Every challenge becomes another opportunity to add to your momentum rather than something that stops it. This kind of resilience makes you unstoppable because no single failure can erase the progress you built through persistence. So if you want to create lasting success, stop chasing massive leaps and start mastering small steps. Focus on doing the right things every day, even when they seem insignificant. Every workout, every study session, every disciplined decision counts. Over time, those choices multiply and the results become undeniable. Compounding effort is not about perfection. It's about persistence. The small things you do today might not look like much, but one day you'll look back and realize they were everything. Keep stacking your wins, keep moving forward, and let the power of consistent effort create the momentum that makes you truly unstoppable.